we live in a world in which living things depend on all other living things. We're in a world in which insects are disappearing, right? If insects disappear, we disappear. That's a big effect on human health. Well, there's some really interesting research coming out of France, which reports that in 17 countries on 3 continents, phthalates are in every insect measured in their cuticle through atmospheric deposition of phthalates because they evaporate, they're volatile, they travel everywhere, including some of the samples were from the central rainforest of French Guiana. And the levels measured in insect cuticles, they did some experiments. Those levels affect queen fecundity, they decrease it in ants, and also ant immune function. Have any of you heard anything about this? Well, I'm glad to hear that some have. That's true. This is an enormous problem, and we're not talking about it, except me and a few others. Anyway, phthalates may be, and other endocrine disrupting compounds may be contributing to the insect Armageddon, and that's not going to help our health. So, obesity. I don't have any slides. I decided to try something different. I want you to think about the Thanksgiving dinner conversation you're going to have with Uncle Jim from somewhere where this type of discussion never takes place. Because if you start ranting about obesity and chemicals, he's going to say, give me a break. He's going to say, it's what you eat, it's how little you exercise, it's the couch potato syndrome. How are you going to deal with that? I want to arm you all with some really simple information that you can use to tell stories about how these are really plausible hypotheses. In fact, there's pretty strong evidence that endocrine disrupting compounds, obesogens, do contribute to obesity in people. So, is that okay? It's a different approach. Maybe you've had enough complicated slides. So there's Uncle Jim. Bullshit. Doesn't make any sense. Wait a second, Uncle Jim. Do you know what stem cells are? Now, he may or may not know what stem cells are. A lot of people do, if you talk about that to the general public. Stem cells are in embryos, and they're becoming different tissues. They get signals from hormones to tell them what to become. That's how stem cells work. Adults have mesenchymal stem cells that are there to replace worn-out tissue. It's essential that they do that properly. Our bone cells need replacement. We get muscle cells that need replacement because we use them. And mesenchymal stem cells are in adults, and they are the replacement source for those tissues. So what happens? Normally, there'll be a hormonal signal of one type. It comes in, it tells the mesenchymal stem cell, go be a muscle, or go be a bone. Endocrine disrupting compounds, obesogens, disrupt that signaling. They say, go be a fat cell. And not only do they say, go be a fat cell, but they tell that mesenchymal stem cell how to process energy more efficiently so you absorb more lipids. So you have more fat cells and you have bigger fat cells, and guess what that means? It means you're fat. Did that story make sense to people? Okay. That's something Uncle Jim can understand. And I think one of the challenges we face is developing stories like that for each of these conditions that doesn't depend upon really intricate biological knowledge, but can be translated into simple stories. I'm going to end there and invite all of you. I'll give a little bit more time for questions.